Hi Tera fans, this is Tera Solo Gamer. I'm actually adding this little clip to the front because I just realized when I filmed the whole thing, I totally forgot to mention that I used to solo this particular one, Eyes Wide Open, way back when I had like Frostmetal gear. It may have been, enchanted up Frostmetal, or I may have even had, what's next, Stormcry weapon when I did it. But the whole reason I picked this one to show is because, as far as I'm concerned, this is the easiest one to do. And if you haven't done any world events yet and you just want to dip your toe in the water, try it out, strongly recommend that you do Eyes Wide Open first, because I personally believe it's the easiest one to do. And of course, you don't necessarily have to solo it. Sometimes other people show up. You might be doing it with the other group, because these are world events. So people who want to show up will show up. And sometimes you might be fighting with one other person or a dozen or more other people. Just depends. I just wanted to add this clip to the front to let you know that you don't need a real high level or super special abilities to do Eyes Wide Open. It's probably the easiest one, at least as far as I'm concerned. If you're in Stormcry, especially if you've enchanted it up a little bit, Frostmetal, especially if you've enchanted up a little bit, you'll be okay, especially if other people are there. Alright, now on to the main video. Hello Gamer. One of my viewers, Unclean Unicorn, had asked me to do some instructional videos on the world events. And, like I mentioned to him, I don't know how much instruction I can really do, because I just play games for fun. My characters are set up the way I want them to be and how I think works for me. But your play style, you may want to be completely different. And my play style is simply to have fun. So my fighting style in every video game I play is I run up to the monster, I start hitting them. They start hitting me back. We keep hitting each other till one of us dies. I cross my fingers and hope I'm not the one who dies, If I die, oh well, whoop-de-doo. Guess what? It's just a video game. I have much more things to concern my mind with a very successful and long-going career and all that. That's where I use my brain power, is solving problems for people and for the army and whatever at work. So when I play games, I don't worry about, trying to actually use my brain for something like a video game. I just have fun. As a matter of fact, my main reason for playing video games is to relax and immerse myself and forget about stress and thinking for myself and thinking for other people and doing all these. I just want to play, have fun, forget about the day. Now, there are 3 world events I am going to go ahead and do. The 2 superior world events, I just now filmed them, but one of them I'm probably going to have to film again because someone else showed up. I wanted to do it by myself. The other one, with the one dragon who's going to Belkin, you have to kill him. That one should be fine. I think I'll be showing that one the way it is. For this one, I want to do Eyes Wide Open. Only because I personally believe that is the easiest one to do. So if you haven't done any of the world events yet, and you're not sure about your eye level and whatever, and you want to go test yourself and see how well you do, I recommend doing Eyes Wide Open first. If you can do that one pretty easily without too much trouble, then go try another one, whatever one you want to try out. But if you keep getting yourself killed trying to do Eyes Wide Open, then start looking at things like your glyphs, maybe moving some of those around. Look at some of the options you have on your weapons and your gear. See if you want to change some of that. Check how you have your stigmas set up. Maybe try changing the stats on some of those. Try to optimize it and keep doing that one. That's actually the only thing I do with all my characters. I set them up how I want them, what makes me happy. And I actually use Island of Dawn every time I would start a new class. I have all 13 classes, so it's hard to remember what things do what. But every time I start a new class, I actually go to Island of Dawn. And I will fight the lowest level monsters. And then if I can defeat them easily, I'll go to the 2nd level monsters. If I can defeat them easily, then I'll go to the top tier or 3rd tier monsters on Island of Dawn. And whatever tier I hit, 1, 2, or 3 on the Island of Dawn, if I'm having difficulty defeating a whole group of 10, to get that Vanguard, Then I'll start looking at my setups for everything and see if I need to change some things. And then I'll try the new setup that I'm trying. And then if it's even harder, well, I'm like, well, now I definitely need to change my setup to something else. And, you know, until it starts becoming easier, until I get to that point where I'm like, okay, I like this. I'm beating them up pretty easy now. You know, that's just how I do it. I don't do anything real fancy, and I don't worry about what other people say. Well, this is how I play my game, so everyone else in the world needs to play Tera exactly how I don't care how you play your game. I'm a solo player. You know, now if you are one of those people who wants to go and do multiplayer dungeons, you definitely need to talk to some people who do the multiplayer dungeons, because they're going to cry real hard like babies if you don't carry them through that dungeon for them, because they rely on 4 other people to carry them through the dungeon. And I have seen so much whining in the stupid global chat thing when people finish a dungeon and they're like, oh, boo, the healer didn't heal me enough, that's why we all lost, or this DPS wasn't DPSing enough, that's why we all lost, you know, or whatever. It's annoying. That's why I try to keep my chats turned off, because you see a lot of crying over there. But if you're a solo player like me and you always are playing by yourself, take my tips and just figure out what works for you, because what works for me may not work for you, depending on 1, your play style, 2, which class of character you're playing, and 3, which things you're actually doing. You know, I'll do Island Dawn monsters, I do the world events, I hunt world bands. You know, you may be doing some different things in the game, and my setup for what I'm doing may not really work for you. Okay, so now this video is actually about the world event. This particular one is Eyes Wide Open, but I do want to give you a bunch of those little tips up front as far as how to optimize your character, because again, some of the world events, like Eyes Wide Open, is a good one to test your skill, see how your stuff's set up. And if you're having trouble and you keep getting killed on that one, which I believe is probably the easiest world event to do, then look at your setup and look at changing it. All right, I have no idea when Eyes Wide Open is going to begin, so I will probably end up fast forwarding from this point, because I'm going to stand here and wait for it to show up. But when I actually show the video, I'll fast forward it. Okay, Eyes Wide Open has now shown up. Here we go. Down at the bottom, it says to press Y to teleport. If you're on PlayStation, look for teleport. It'll tell you which button to hit. And all we're doing is teleporting to the actual world event. Again, I'm filming this one because one of my viewers, Unclean Unicorn, asked me to do some of the world events. And I only picked 3 because most of them are just you beating up monsters. Okay, you can see on the right, it says go inside the barricades. Oops, I have not set up my buffs. Hold on. It says defeat the basilisk. We'll get to that. And he's getting ready to attack me. Got my buffs. All right. Hi, buddy. You see those tornadoes in the background? Try not to let the tornadoes hit you. Because if the tornadoes hit you, it flings you up in the air and you end up wasting time. And again, the world events are all timed. And I say again because I've done a couple other videos just now. But for this video, in case you don't watch the other. Okay, you see that body slam he did? Even though I put up a block, it's still going to throw you back, which wastes some of your time. I'm trying to avoid the tornadoes, because again, they will waste your time. Okay, he's dead. Now, second basilisk shows up. You'll fight a total of 3. Each basilisk is... Okay, I'm going to let this tornado lift me up in the air. See? All it does is lift you up in the air. You waste some time. And again, like I say in many of my videos, especially the World Bam hunting ones, I just hit monsters. They hit me back until one of us dies. I don't get all fancy. But from the videos, at least you can see some of the attack patterns. And maybe it'll help you know what to be prepared for if you've never actually done this one. Now, this is the 3rd basilisk. So he's the toughest one. He is going to, take you the most amount of time. And you're going to want to hit him with your hardest stuff because he has the most HP and the best defense and whatever else. Now, I haven't covered it in this video yet, so I need to cover it. Sometimes I forget what I have and haven't done, something because I just did 2 other videos. On the right side of the screen, you have 3 different meters. Okay, again, that body slam thing pushes you back even if you block, so it wastes some of your time. You have 3 different meters. The top one, however much damage you do while you're beating up on these BAMs, that meter will fill up based on the more damage that you do. You know, you smack these guys around, the meter fills up more. The second one is the timer. All the world events are timed events. The goal is kill all the monsters before that timer runs out. If you kill all the monsters before the timer runs out, I just killed him. Okay, I'm done. Before the timer runs out, okay, these guys appear now because we're done. If you kill a monster before the timer runs out, then you can see the third meter. The third meter tells you at what percentage you are of completing that world event. It should have been going up if you rewind a little bit or whatever. When I fought the first one, it would have gone up a certain amount of percent. I fought the second one, it would have gone up a certain amount of percent. I don't know exactly what the percentages were because I wasn't paying attention. But when it says 100%, that means you have completed all the requirements except for time. Now I got to sit here and wait for the timer to run out. You don't actually have, once that says 100%, you don't have to stand around here and wait. You can go do something else. And after that timer does run out, then it will send you the special reward through your partial post. Now, I already talked about the more damage you do. That's what I'm looking for. You get certain daily things. Now, for Eyes Wide Open specifically, I have a choice, but I don't get a choice. Randomly, it's going to select, once the timer's run out, it's either going to send me extra legendary tokens or it's going to send me some stigma shards. I hope I get legendary tokens. That's what I'm trying to collect. Now, as far as the other one, you saw the bar. Right now, you can see the number 1 red for my daily stuff. Every time you fill that meter just by beating up on the monsters, even whether you win or not, you at least get those extra dailies. At the bottom, let me go back. At the bottom, it says daily score. Hit right on my D-pad. PlayStation will tell you what to hit. I got 1 for him because they're so easy, you don't get a lot of score. But I can get reward, hit the Y button. PlayStation will tell you what to hit. And I get some a jewel box, some extra item experience points, and some Guardian Legion credits. All right, the timer, we're down to 10 seconds. Okay, so those are your dailies. The dailies come from that top bar. Every time you fill that top bar, just by hitting the monsters, whether you end up winning or not, you get the dailies. Every time you fill the bar, you get another set of dailies like we just saw. The timer, you have to defeat the monsters before the timer runs out. Timer runs out before you defeat them. Well, then you don't get the special rewards that I was just showing you because you have to, and it's already gone. Okay, because the timer's out. But the special rewards for the specific world event, you only get if you defeat the monsters before the timer runs out. And all I'm doing is wait. The timer's run out. Okay, now when it tells you additional world events rewards are sent by parcel post, that means your parcel post has sent you. And of course, I got stigma shards. I don't want stigma shards. I want the legendary tokens, but I am not lucky at all today. So I'll just take my stupid stigma shards. They drop like candy in this game, so I have thousands of stigma shards. But that's a gamble because when it tells you, let's just pick one at random here. Like that's one of the flying ones. If you were doing it, then when you get your reward later, you're either going to get a pilot's token or a light mask or some stigma shards. You're not going to get all 3. You're not going to get 2. You're only going to get 1. And the vast majority of the time, you're going to get stigma shards. You know, hopefully you'll get lucky. And like I said, there we go. These were the same kind of rewards for this one that I just did. Eyes Wide Open. I was hoping to get legendary tokens, but it's an either-or thing. They're either going to send me legendary tokens or they're going to send me stigma shards. I got stigma shards because I'm not lucky today. But sometimes you get lucky and get a few legendary tokens because usually it's more than 1. Sometimes it might be 1. I'm not sure. So that's because I'm trying to collect those for powerful masks. I covered the powerful mask thing in one of my other videos I just did for Superior World Event. So I'm not going to go into all that. But that is how the world events work. That is how the little bar meter things on them work. Those are some of the items that you can get from some of them. And again, I'm only going to do 3 of these videos for world events right now because one of my viewers did ask me to do some, but there's no point in doing a bunch of them because all you do in all of them is beat up on monsters and, you know, try to kill them before the timer runs out. That's what they are. But I did decide to show you this one because as far as I'm concerned, Eyes Wide Open is the easiest world event to do. So if you haven't done a world event yet, you're not sure about your eye level, you're not sure about whatever, do this one first. Try it out. And if you have difficulties with it, work on optimizing your character's stats and whatever before you try another one. Now, of course, at world events, sometimes other people show up. And sometimes it sucks because sometimes 1 or 2 people show up and it'll become more difficult and it will take longer. And sometimes a large group will show up and it'll take even longer. But usually a large group, 8 or more, you know, we usually end up beating it. But I'm pretty sure the world event monsters scale based on how many people are there. So it can work to your benefit sometimes or even to your detriment. Because like I said, I've done some of these where 1 or 2 other people showed up. The monsters are more difficult. This one is so easy I can just do it anyway. But the superior ones, 1 or 2 people show up. It'll take longer and be more difficult, and we won't even defeat them in time, and the timer will run out. So if a few other people show up, the monster becomes stronger and stronger, harder to kill, but if they're not very good at fighting it, you may not end up, you know, completing it, but they need to practice too. They're playing for fun. They're trying to get some experience, so, you know, don't cry about it or whatever. It's a video game, you know. If you don't win, you don't win. Try it again later and maybe help them out or whatever if, you know, they need some tips or whatever, you know. So, you know, again, games are supposed to be fun. I hate it when all those crybabies complain in the chats, oh, boo-hoo, you know, this person didn't carry me through this thing well enough. That's why I didn't get it. Yeah, whatever. But there you go. That is the Eyes Wide Open world event. Hopefully the video was at least a little helpful if you've never done a world event to understand how everything works for a world event and what you're shooting for there. And maybe you saw a few attack patterns going on that'll help you know what to expect for this particular one. And again, I believe this is the easiest world event to do. I recommend doing this one before you do any of the other ones just to test it out. So until next time, enjoy Tera and happy gaming.